I like to give all acknowledgement, honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Haracha, Okadash, who giveth us forth his servant strength and power to move mountains, and who will deliver us, Lord willing, from the hour of temptation. May double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that have taught us this truth. And shalom unto you, hopeful, sincere elect members, and 1/3 of the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans and Seminole Indians that truly believe that Yahweh is, that he exists, the Most High, and that Yahweh Shai is the deliverer and will deliver you. Hey, shalom unto you. I'm the Badai Baja from the Los Angeles GMS camp. We're currently teaching in the San Fernando Valley. The specific location is in Ventura, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying unto you, hopefully, elect members. So, the situation that's going on right now with Biden huffing at Saudi Arabia is because Saudi Arabia is threatening to join the BRICS. All right, the BRICS, Salakia. Saudi Arabia is threatening to pretty much join Esau's enemies. All right, because they're saying that America right now is tapping into their oil reserve, and really, they're about to do deals with Russia. If they not already been doing it, all right, they're about to openly do it. All right, these nations, these allies that America has, they're turning on them. And all prophetic. So let's check this video out and then bring out the scriptures.
There's another battle that the West is fighting, a battle of narratives, a battle to win new allies, only that it is failing miserably at this. Forget new allies. Even old friends of the West are ditching it, like Saudi Arabia. First, it refused to ramp up oil production for the European Union. And now, it wants to be a part of BRICS, a bloc of 5 major emerging economies, including China and Russia. The president of South Africa says Riyadh is interested in joining this bloc. Why? Our next report telling you.
This is Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. On Sunday, he visited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and made a stunning revelation. Ramaphosa said that Riyadh wants to join BRICS, a bloc of 5 major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Saudi Arabia wants to be its 6th member. At least that's what Ramaphosa claims. Here's what he said during the visit. The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman did express Saudi Arabia's desire to be part of BRICS. That's not all. The South African president says Saudi Arabia is not the only country. A couple of others are keen on joining as well. Watch this.
They have a great desire, and they are not the only country that is finding the BRICS family or formation attractive because of what BRICS stands for. And so we did say to them, the BRICS nations are going to be meeting in a summit next year under the chairship of South Africa, in South Africa, and the matter is going to be under consideration. And already a number of countries or nations have been making approaches to each of the BRICS members, and we've given them the same answer, that it will be discussed by the BRICS partners themselves, 5 of them, and thereafter a decision will be made.
So how does one perceive this? Why are so many countries keen on joining BRICS? And what about the Saudis? What's their intention? To answer this, we'll first have to understand the purpose of BRICS. It was established to serve as an alternative to Western blocs, to counter their hegemony in geopolitics and the global economy. So, is Riyadh's bid to join BRICS an attempt to disassociate itself from the West? It surely seems like it, because Saudi Arabia's relations with Washington have hit a new low. Look at some recent developments. OPEC Plus has refused Biden's request to ramp up oil production. It then snubbed Biden's threats with a sharply worded statement. Then, as if to rub salt on injury, an American citizen has been sentenced to 16 years in prison in the kingdom. This was followed by another snub. Saudi Arabia did not extend an invitation to American officials for an investment conference scheduled for later this month. And now Saudi Arabia wants to join BRICS. It all seems to be part of a strategy. Saudi Arabia's push to decouple itself from the United States and ultimately the West. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION now available in your...
So what happened? Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, meaning they brought you to their territory. You know, they welcomed you, and they entreated you well. They sat down with you. You probably ate food with them. All right, we seen it in the video. You know, Biden was at the table with the prince. So all the men of thy confederacy, when you go into the word confederacy, it means someone that you're in agreement with, in a league with. So alliance, a pledge, a treaty, a league. All right? Covenant, alliance of friendship. So America and Saudi Arabia been had a agreement and a friendship since the 90s. All right? Have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee, they that eat thy bread. Y'all was getting rich together, weren't y'all? All right? They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. And that ultimate wound is going to be missiles. All right? There is none understanding in him. Now, let's get this right here. Because you can see Biden and the
part of a strategy.
In another video, you can see them fist pounding or, you know, walking shoulder to shoulder.
Arabia's push to decouple itself from the United States and ultimately the West. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION.
For an investment conference in prison statement.
Yeah, look at that. Brought him to the border, showed him around. You thought you was at peace with him. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. All right. Now let's get another scripture that goes well with this scripture. Isaiah 33 and 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously. When you deal treacherously, you deal in deceit. All right? Whatever you're presenting to the person, you don't mean it. You have an agenda within it. And they have dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. All right? So when you stop taking advantage of them, when you stop deceitfully dealing with them, that's when they're going to strike you. All right? They shall deal treacherously with thee. And I'm going to bring out a little piece of history. Now, when you go into the word treacherously, And the word here is bagad, right? And it says to act treacherously, deceitfully, deal treacherously, to act or deal faithlessly, deceitfully, offend. All right, and it says so pretty much not upholding your bargain. All right, and this right here shows that America have done them foul. Salak. Let's go. Man, where was it? I just looked it up. I just had it. All right, let's go right here. Yeah, this right here. Check this out. It says all right, so America was supposed to grant Saudi Arabia with weapons and military aid. In return, they will keep empowering the dollar by selling the oil in the US dollar, right? Now, America, they deal deceitfully because when there was a war happening in Yemen, America didn't help finish the war. If anything, America withdrew their troops and they reduced the soldiers. All right, so it says right here, let me see, I had it right here. It says the U.S. government reports no continuing in Saudi Arabia government restriction on no, right here. Oh yeah, right here. The war in Yemen and Saudi Arabia's military intervention against the Iran-backed Houthi movement there since 2015 have tested U.S.-Saudi ties and remain a focus of U.S.-Saudi engagement. So it says successful administrations have gradually reduced U.S. support to Saudi-led coalition military operation in Yemen. And that's dealing deceitfully with someone. Because you tell them you're going to support them, you're going to aid them, you're going to, be there for them. And then you go against the plans. You go against, whatever pact you made. But on July 21st, U.S. forces continue to provide Saudi forces military advice and limited information amid missile and drone attacks on the kingdom in recent years attributed by the U.S. official to Iran and Iran-backed groups. The United States, since 2019, deployed more than 2,700 military personnel to the kingdom to bolster Saudi air and missile defenses and support deterrence operation by U.S. Fighter aircraft. Now it says the U.S. officials have stated their support for Saudi efforts to defend their territory while withdrawing some U.S. military platforms and personnel from the kingdom for use elsewhere. So pretty much, you told someone you're going to help them in a fight, and then in the midst of the fight, you just withdraw yourself and then telling that person, like, what's going on in the fight that they're fighting. That's not very helpful at all. That's going against your word. That's dealing deceitfully. So it says, hold on. Rare and clashes involve Saudi security forces have not spent beyond this certain. All right, now let's get the video, because the video, it kind of shows a little more of what really happened.
President Joe Biden announced on Thursday that the U.S. would no longer support the Saudi Arabia-led military campaign in Yemen, a 6-year conflict that's been widely seen as a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
This war has to end. And to underscore our commitment, we are ending all American support for offensive operations in the war in Yemen, including relevant arms sales.
In 2015, a Saudi-led military coalition intervened in Yemen by arming government forces against Iran-aligned Houthi rebel fighters. In his remarks, Biden added the conflict has created a humanitarian catastrophe, one the United Nations says is the world's biggest, with millions of Yemeni people on the verge of large-scale famine. Biden on Thursday also named U.S. diplomat Timothy Lenderking as the country's special envoy for Yemen, in a bid to step up American diplomacy and end the war there.
I've asked my Middle East team to ensure our support for the United Nations-led initiative to impose a ceasefire, open humanitarian challenge, and restore long-dormant peace talks.
Biden's move reverses policies from both the Obama and Trump administrations. Trump's policy was focused on forcing Iran back into talks over its nuclear program and maintaining close ties with Saudi Arabia, including U.S. arms sales. That was despite demands by Republican and Democratic lawmakers for an end to U.S. support for Saudi Arabia as the humanitarian crisis in Yemen worsened. But Biden said the U.S. will continue to help Saudi Arabia defend against Iran-supplied forces in the region. Saudi Arabia welcomed those commitments, according to its state-run news agency.
So you see, America deals deceitfully, because that wasn't the agreement. They just be breaking policies. Yeah, in this reading, there was a little part where it said that they kept changing policies and all that. All right, because America deals deceitfully with these nations. All right, through their policy, their sanctions. All right. So Isaiah 33:1, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dwelt not treacherously with thee. And you got a lot of nations, they haven't forgotten how you Americans did them. All right? They haven't forgot how you dealt deceitfully with them when they were your ally. All right? When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. That's right. These nations are going to deal treacherously with you. All right? Because right now, Saudi Arabia has called off conference and hasn't even invited you. And them conferences to strengthen, oil and all that talks of, economic growth and all that. Business and so forth. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Shemel Shai is snaring this devil, and he's walking into the trap, the snare of the Lord. So Jeremiah 50:24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken. So no matter what you do, Esau, your kingdom is going to be snared in the trap of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You elites think you're doing something, but really it's the Lord snaring you. Alright? You elites think you're bringing about the new order by destroying your economy. And no, fool. The Lord is snaring you. Alright? And thou art also taken, O Babylon, aka America, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is why. Because you're fighting against your Creator. Alright? So now the Lord has set up a snare for you. You've been trapped to walk into the judgment that the Lord has reserved for you. Alright? And this place is going to be burnt with nuclear fire. All of your allies, including your mother Britain, is going to turn around and destroy you. Alright? And this is where that scripture comes in. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast being NATO, and them horns are them nations, them European nations. Alright? These shall hate the whore. They're gonna hate the whore. All your allies, even your biggest allies, your biggest supporters, whatever, they're going to turn around and hate you, because it is the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Alright? These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's metaphor for how the Lord is going to destroy Babylon, aka America. Alright? For Yahweh had put in their hearts, their mind, to fulfill his will and to agree. So these nations were in agreement with you, because it was the will of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh should be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So the Lord put you in that position to be that whore upon the beast, ruling the nations, telling NATO where to go, telling these European nations what to do, and, having this dominion. But guess what? The Lord going to have all your allies, your major allies too, turn against you and then help destroy you. Alright, and that's the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Hey, Lord willing, this was edifying and to the point, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Hey, and soon we're going to see more major nations that are part of Esau's pack turn on them out of nowhere. And this is all prophetic. We're getting closer, man, to the destruction of this place. Hey, shalom.